The College Football Experience Conference Championship Reaction Show episode of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Yes, a brand new sports book available in 45 different states. Download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $100. And last but not least, we're brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and college basketball with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Yes! 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 Woo! Welcome! Welcome to the College Football Experience Conference Championship FCS Playoff Show Reaction Show. The dogs are howling in the background. YouTube.com/the College Experience.
Muddy holding it down. Muddy knows from across the country. He can hear it.
Oh, man. YouTube.com. YouTube.com/the College Experience. Get on over there, hit that like and subscribe button as the race for 15K by January 1st. If we don't have 15K, we'll be going live, but it just won't be us. We will just be playing Human Centipede movies on repeat. So please get on over there, get 15K.
Win-win situation, really. Let's be honest.
If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to,
Can't get enough of that.
My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Woo! What a day. What a day.
Absolutely fire.
I mean,
Fun
just
endings across the board. Great day.
Yeah, you got championships. What, the first time you're winning a championship since the 60s? You got overtime matchups. You got chaos. You got a real kick return, not that NFL bullshit, deciding a game, special teams being huge. You got a coach losing another big game, adding another one to his resume. You got coach hirings, coach firings. You got the FCS D2. I watched Minnesota State with the goal line stand of a lifetime today. Get it done. It was just great all day. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former video. Well, I'm doing the basketball too much. Former JMU defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh! Well,
Buddy.
let me tell you, I can never be a former video coordinator because when I was at JMU in the film room, lights out. Once the lights went out, I was asleep. I was terrible about watching film, man. I would knock out all the time in the film room.
Well, I mean, doesn't surprise me there. Burritos, I bet you it was right after lunch. Right after lunch, you were drinking all night.
That's right. Colby's getting 3 hours of sleep these days, watching his kids and putting out these episodes. So yeah, I could relate when I was drinking. Well, I'm still drinking like a madman. So
I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly find once again what I will look like if I continue on this rate as I quickly try to Google image the guy in Ghost on the train. We're doing the basketball show. The East Coast, I love the East Coast, but let me tell you something. It's tough. The hour change, it's the worst time zone for sports. The hour change makes it so you never really get any sleep. And I do think I am on the verge, Patty C, of looking like this guy. If I spend any more time, as I quickly pull this up to show the good folks out there what I mean. If I continue on this rate, by the time March Madness hits,
you got this guy pulled up yet?
I'm trying to. Here we go. Share screen. I think I'm going to look like this. YouTube.com/The College Experience. This will be me in by March. I'm fairly certain that will be me. Look at the rings around the eyes.
Get off my train.
The fucking
teeth. That guy's classic.
That's going to be me if I continue on this rate, or if they put in Alabama over SMU. Like, that's going to rapidly.
Immediately.
Yeah, I will look like this by tomorrow afternoon if they do.
By the way, Joel Klatt already put Alabama in his bracket. He just put that out. I just called him pathetic on Twitter. Dude, I think he's a shill, man. I think Joel Klatt has become a shill. Sorry. I hate to call people out by name, but whatever.
No,
fuck it. That's what we do here.
Dude, I just saw Kevin Carter, former Florida defensive end for CBS Sports, and he makes it seem like there's no way you could put, like, all four of those anchors made it seem like there's no way you can put SMU in.
Yo, they are fucking idiots. They are fucking idiots. Although those guys, they had SMU at 10 in their bracket, which they just released. I'm like, how do you have SMU over Clemson in your bracket? It literally, you're making the bracket like 12 hours after the game finished. You know who's better. They just fucking played. That's the most recent data point.
It was a Clemson home game, but I get your point.
Fair.
I get your point.
Yeah. Please.
No, I think we have to say something. I think that's why we have followers. It's not because of my good looks, even though I might look like that guy.
Some people, there's someone for everyone.
No, but I mean, I have a big issue with this. Let's just jump right in because this is so. Today was awesome, by the way. Let's just start there. 12-team playoff is so much better than a 14 playoff.
Yeah, this was freaking majestic.
And they should expand soon. And before I even get to that Clemson SMU game, Patty, the fan turnouts at these games were horrible. The
Which
Big 12
doesn't exactly, support the idea that a 12-team playoff is better. It's great for viewers on television.
Well, here's the thing, buddy. If you're an Arizona State fan, if you're a Oregon fan, if you're a Texas fan, why go to a game when you already – I mean, I guess Arizona State's different. If you're a Penn State, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, SMU potentially fan, why go to the game if you know next week you're going to the playoffs?
Again, not necessarily an argument that playoff expansion was a good thing. But on the flip side of that, half those teams wouldn't have even a chance to go to the playoff in a 4-team system. So, attendance would probably be down in that situation too.
I'm going to say this, though. It's not that. It's 12's a dumb format. 12 is a dumb format. 16, you would not have that problem, I don't think. Right?
And why is that?
Well, there's two things. 16, because the bye week seems you can make a strong case that the 5 seed's better than the 2 seed, right? I actually think it is. Like, if you're asking me, I really think it is. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, the 5 seed might be better than the 1 seed.
It might be better than the 1. That's what I'm saying. It's definitely better than the 2, in my opinion.
I mean, because assuming the 5 seed can beat the 12 seed, right? Then playing the 4 seed, assuming the 4 seed is typically like, I don't know. I actually did research on this myself, and it's close. I think the 5 seed and the 1
but not
seed
when you add the economics of it. Like, the fact that the 5 seed will get the home game, and I bet you the home team is going to win like 98% of the time.
Yeah, that's probably true over the 12. Yeah.
And then when you add in the economics of it, and who knows the overall, like, not only like the scene, like taking the goalpost to the fucking river in Boise the other night, right? Last night.
Yeah.
It adds to the culture. The scene it creates, from clicks to views to just the overall coverage to ticket sales to concessions to local bars,
memorable moments,
everything. It's going to go to 16, but also this. It was a big storyline in this leading up to this week. What's the incentive for winning the game? Like Georgia, Texas, Penn State, Oregon. I think we just made a case that the 5 seed's better than the 1 seed, right? Well, guess what? Only one of those teams can get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So, to me, to make it a better incentive,
I'm a little on the fence.
The second round of the playoffs needs to be home games.
Well, I agree with that.
And that's how you build drama for the conference championship. If you want the conference championship to sell out ticket sales, if the winner of Georgia, Texas is getting home field in the second round, I think it adds stakes to it, and it gives you a reason to actually drive, to fly over there or drive over there, whatever the fuck, and go to the game. Your thoughts?
Well, I think, I agree that home field advantage in the second round is a massive incentive to support your team a little better. However, I think a first round bye is also incentive. So I'm pretty surprised. I mean, granted, it's relatively short notice for a lot of these teams, whether they're even going to be playing in the conference championship or not. Like Penn State had 6 days notice to get their shit in gear and get over to the conference championship game. So that might have impacted ticket sales a little bit, but that's going to happen. The conference championship race goes down to the wire every year for a lot of conferences. So
let me tell you something. They're changing that. You when you have a $12 ticket to the Big Ten championship, money speaks. I guarantee you they are changing that. They're either going to 16, and I think they're going to be forced to do the second round home playoff game. I think they're going to be forced. There's only so many games that a fan base can afford, first off.
Yeah, so, I mean, to travel to, to neutral sites, I mean, come on. Yeah, you kind of have to go with that. And then, the attendance is going to suffer the more rounds that you're at neutral sites. But home field advantage not only incentivizes teams to show up to play, but it also and fans to support, but it also makes it more compelling. We think we're huge fans of home environments.
Oh, I mean, I couldn't help but watch yesterday's games, and then you saw today's empty games. I go, the sample is right there for you. Army storms the field. It's clickbait everywhere. It's awesome for the sport. Boise takes the goalpost down to the fucking river right there, throws it in there. They storm the field. It was everything, and I'll be honest. Like I think they're going to come to this conclusion because I think it's inevitable. It's just like you're looking at this. And I watched the Big 12 game today, and I was like, they're kicking field goals. I'm like, this shit's like a Clippers game in the 90s. You know what I mean? I was like,
that said, we are talking about conference championships, and I am.
But if you did a home, how about that? That's another angle you could do. If you did that game in Tempe or you did that game in Ames, it sells better for TV.
Yeah, probably, but I don't like it that much. I like I like. I mean, I guess you could earn. I don't hate the idea necessarily of earning a home game in or home field advantage
I
in your
would
conference
prefer it. To
championship.
me, like the sport should be played on campus.
Okay.
And to me, the selling point was Boise and Army last night, as opposed to today watching these games. Even though the games were fire, the locations were kind of shitty, and the environments were shitty.
Yeah. Well, when you get to like the semifinals and like the quarterfinals in neutral site locations, like we have 3 sites currently in neutral site location, or 3 rounds in neutral site locations. NFL, everyone is fine. It's always been up until the semifinals, or the semifinals included. You know, the conference championships is at a home site, and then you have 1 neutral site in the NFL, and that's okay. That's fair because you're in different conferences, and of course I'm okay, and I think it should be a neutral site for the national championship in college football. But I would be perfectly fine with it going up to the semifinals in college football. But if you want to include the bowls, the whole reason for it is because there are 4 to 5 bowls that have so much history that they don't want to.
No, they're gonna have to, dude.
I hope so.
They're gonna have to. Like, I'm telling you, like, I think the dollar bill will win. It normally always does, and in this case, they set themselves up for failure here. They set themselves up. They're not going to go back from 12.
Here's the other thing: the fact that it's either going to be SMU or Alabama guarantees that one of those fan bases, or potentially the entire country, is going to be in an uproar. That they're not included in the playoff. And Alabama's fan base is big enough that if they get excluded, which they should, that, you know, the SEC too probably is going to put up a big enough fight to immediately expand the playoffs in 2026. And then if SMU gets left out, then that's just ridiculous. So
it should like if there's already proof of it based on every week's rankings. You know what I mean? Like once again, you should cast a big enough net where the corruption does not bleed into the sport. Right now, it bleeds into the sport. You see it with Missouri being ranked in the top 25. You see it with, what they did with Alabama over Miami last week. What they've done on several occasions. You could argue the Indiana thing. You could argue the Ohio State thing. There's just, you see the corruption week in, week out.
Yeah.
And that's why you need a large enough playoff that it doesn't matter
for that.
If you're in, you're in. You know what I mean?
That and 12, potentially 12-1 Army is being left out this year. You know, off of one loss to a very.
They should be in. They should 100% be in
too. Yeah.
Especially when
they're
16
ASAP.
Especially when your one loss is to a team in the field.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, shout out to Alright, giving us $25. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Get out there. He goes, 1 is call out people. 2, in my opinion, the team should be politicking for the final spot. Should be Bama, Indiana, and BYU. There should be a reseeding after each round. That would make sense because all 3 of those didn't play a game today. I completely agree in that vein. Let's get to each outcome, though, because I want to make sense of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I still think, if you had made every conference race, Ohio destroyed Miami, Ohio today. Shout out to Ohio. They won the MAC championship, their first since the 60s. And they've been a good program. They just haven't been able to get that MAC championship. They finally get it, but Tim Albin, right after the game, takes the Charlotte job. Well, part of it is this, Patty C, in my opinion.
Is that big of an upgrade? Is that an upgrade at all?
Yes, because you can make the playoffs, right?
Okay, yeah.
In the AAC, your team can make the playoffs. In the MAC, it's very, very hard, and that's another problem to me. I was thinking this last night with Boise State. I said they fucked up. I'm for the powers, in my opinion, they fucked up by going to this 12-team model. Boise State's going to go every fucking year, dude. And I mean, honestly, if you did this exercise over the past 25 years, it would be Boise State like 17 of the 25 times.
Yeah.
And that is only going to make them nastier from a recruiting. They basically gave them access, and you're going to turn into Gonzaga now, where you might not win the national championship, but you are going to be getting great players every fucking year, and more money will trickle in through that university, through Idaho. And
there was a time Gonzaga couldn't get, the type of
Yeah.
player that, and then what, they got the number one player in the nation 2 years in a row, right? Who's
right now,
point
you
guard?
watch them. I mean, I know they lost to Kentucky tonight, but I'm just saying, like, they have guys, and they have guys every year now.
If you're the number one smaller conference team, you're going to start getting super big recruits.
Well, especially with the NIL era, this is over. It's over. You gave them access. It was so funny. Thought the announcer was so stupid last night for calling out all these announcers. Brock Hjord, and I do think Ashton Jeanty is incredible, but he goes, if you take Ashton Jeanty off this team, no one's talking about Boise State. They're not winning nearly as much. I'm like, what are you talking about? We have a 25-year sample size of them being awesome.
Little detail.
Yeah, they haven't had a losing season since '97. Whether they had Jeanty or not, they've been awesome for 25 years.
Yeah.
So you're wrong. All right.
I mean, I think he helps. I think recent history, they haven't been as good. So I think he bumps them up a little bit.
But they still won Mountain West last year. They would have been in last year, right?
They were trending back in the dominant direction in the group of 5 Mountain West ranks, with or without him. So I do think that's incorrect.
Yeah. And but I what a scene. I love that. Ohio, shout out to Ohio. I would love it if we got to a big enough playoff where that game mattered, because then I think Tim Albin stays. You can build on that because you have
MAC
access.
Becomes a hell of a lot more interesting.
Yes, you have access. I know we're still far away from this, but I still think it should be. Arizona State, Iowa State. We got to talk about this one, but before I do that, I do want to say that the college football experience, well, first off, we're part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Download the SGPN app. It's completely free, and you have easy access to all of our shows, our articles, our picks page, free wherever you get your apps. Just type in SGPN. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all the sports. You can win up to 1,000 times the amount of money you enter with Underdog Streaks. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boost and give me pick'ems. They got college football, college basketball, NASCAR, NBA, MMA, NFL. I mean, you name it, they got it. You can now use specials and boost on all flex entries as well. So sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is now a social sports book available in 45 different states. Yes, and there are plenty of betting opportunities available on Rebet. It's easy to use, and let me tell you, it is great for people in states where traditional sports books may be restricted. Hello, Texas. Hello, California. Download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back. Patty C, this game was the shocker of the – I had a good day. I only got 2 games wrong. Nice. But – and when you add everything, I was 3-0 yesterday in football. So in FBS. FCS, I had a good day too. Arizona State 45, Iowa State 19. I was wrong on this. I thought the Jordan Tyson injury was going to be catastrophic. I thought you had a great point on our show earlier this week when you said in the dome – their athletes will shine. Now, I don't know if this was the dome or they could have played this on the fucking moon the way Cam Scatterby was running, but still.
Yeah, see, that's not necessarily athletes that's shining. That's sheer, like, that's the kind of play that you would think Iowa State would typically shine in a I don't know. That's hard-nosed football right there, which is more Iowa State's brand than
Arizona I was State's pretty brand. Shocked at this, and shout out to Kenny Dillingham and shout out to Arizona State. They're the fucking hottest team in America, I think. 45-19. Who's John Riggins? I saw John Riggins play football today. I saw fucking John Riggins play football today. Good God, dude! I couldn't help but watch this game. I was on Sports Grid 3 different times today, and they're asking me in game about this Arizona State team and do you think they have a chance? And I go, yeah, Levitt. Shout out to Kenny Dillingham. Kenny Dillingham did this with Bo Nix, where he looked like shit at Auburn. And then at Oregon, he looked great. Sam Levitt made me fall asleep like 7 times last year at Michigan State, right? And he transfers to Arizona State, and he looks really fucking good, man. And
dude, he's athletic.
How
many rushing yards did he have?
He's getting more confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Scadaboo, who's like just maybe the greatest American ever, just killing it here. 45-19, Patty C. 45-19.
I would say the ball was bouncing Arizona State's way today, but also they were just a much better team.
Yeah, Iowa State didn't want to tackle, man. They couldn't tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it wouldn't have been that big of a blowout had some of the balls bounced the other way, but still, I think Arizona State wins that game regardless.
As much beef as I have with Joe Tessitore for his announcing in that game, which I thought was very shitty, I appreciate him calling out Cam Scadaboo for having a huge head, because he has just a cinder block of a fucking head, and he's diesel.
Well, I don't get great man. Cold, but
He's just a hard guy to like tackle.
Yeah, and Patty, I'm of the belief. I'm very fascinated, so I'm on the Sports Grid today, and they're like, where do you? They asked me this. They were like, where do you draw the line on who could win a national championship of the teams making the playoffs
This year?
And this is before the SMU Clemson game, before the Penn State Oregon game. But I'm like, every team. I was
Outside
like,
of the playoffs?
yeah, honestly, I think that's why you should go to 16, because I feel like I was like, even if you put Alabama in, I think
South Carolina,
they can still win it all. Yeah,
Ole Miss whooped Georgia's fucking ass.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I think every single team. I think I was watching the Boise game last night, and I was thinking about that Oregon game when I was like, man, they kind of pushed Oregon around on the offensive line. Or, their O-line pushed their D-line around in Autzen, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, if that happens again, I think every single team's got a chance. Yeah, especially if Boise gets the first round bye, then it's like, yeah, I think they have a legit
Indiana. Track. I think things went wrong in Indiana, but let's be honest, like with 2 minutes left in the first half, that game was 7-7. If the rain doesn't start pouring down and the punter doesn't drop the snap deep in their own territory and Ohio State recovers, things might not spiral out of control for Indiana.
If you just get in, like we'll get to I concocted what I think they're going to do for tomorrow. I think Indiana is going to be playing at Notre Dame.
Dude, this bracket is setting up amazing.
It is. It really is.
They'll find a way to screw it up because they're the College Football Playoff Committee, and that is what I think their sole assignment is to fuck up like what's obvious. But yeah, it's almost really hard to mess this up, and it's basically a perfect bracket.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, would it shock you if Indiana beat Notre Dame?
No.
Would not either.
It's not a long road trip.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way I drew out my shit, I was like, well, I mean, I think every single team's got a shot. And then if you win that, and who knows who wins? Like, okay, who knows if Indiana is getting whoever, Arizona State, if they're getting, I mean, I guess if
Indiana the 7-10 would probably play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
Now, I'd be pretty surprised if they beat Georgia, but still.
I wouldn't.
Georgia's got a quarterback problem now.
Yeah, and Georgia just got pushed to the brink by Georgia Tech. They got pushed to the brink by Kentucky. If we're looking at examples, like our whole idea of Georgia being great is that, I mean, they have had some very good performances. They blew out Clemson in the second half of that game. Although that game was 6-3 at halftime.
6-0, I think it was
6-0 at halftime. And then, but they've had a bunch of close games in the meantime. I think Indiana in a dome, particularly because that plays in Indiana's hands. They're a well-balanced offense, and if they can throw the ball around and Curtis Short can get the ball to different players, then I think that offense can go even against Georgia. I think that'd be a competitive game.
I think anyone's got a shot. Like, I mean, we just saw Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech played Georgia better than Texas did. Right. It went to more overtimes and they were up the whole game. Yeah. I'm fascinated by this year. And So Myron, this is what I'm hoping they do. And I know we got to get to, I'm all over the place. We got to get to the next game, but SMU at Texas is what the people want.
Yeah.
Are they smart enough to listen to that?
They can't mess that up. I mean, unless they're going to give Notre Dame the nod over Texas, just because they have one less loss. I would think that the number 2 team in the country losing in overtime to Georgia, who's been the class of the sport over the past few years, barring last year. It's obvious that they would drop them to the 5 spot, especially them being SEC. You would think they'd be 5, and then SMU losing to Clemson.
Penn State being 5.
I can see Penn State being 5 too, but Texas started the day number 2. Granted, they lost to a lower seed, and Penn State lost to the number 1 seed. So, but still, I would think they would put Texas in over Penn State.
This game would be awesome. Yeah. Brandon says, I honestly still think Texas is the better team. You might be right. I mean, I don't know.
Then
Texas,
who, Georgia or
in SMU? I think he's saying.
Then SMU. Sure, maybe.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, what's great is the boosters. That'd be a super C note game because of the history. We just saw that play-in tournament in college basketball in Vegas where the players got money. I guarantee you, the SMU boosters and the Texas boosters would tell these players, "You win this fucking game, we're paying way more money." Yeah. Because the animosity between the schools and the boosters is. Yeah. We just need this game. Like college football needs this game.
Kevin Jennings will be a problem for Texas.
Oh, I agree.
Problem for everyone.
I agree, and I think SMU's like if you look at Texas, and I would argue this for the SMU resume here. I keep seeing all these schmucks saying, and Nick Saban just completely contradicting himself on the pregame show today, talking about the transfer portal's changed things. Why do you think Vanderbilt was able to beat Alabama, right?
Yeah.
And then like a second later, it's like they don't have a top 25 win. Why should they be in? I'm like, well, the top 25 is bullshit. Missouri is not a better football team than Louisville. I would lay 2 touchdowns with Louisville. And like, how can you say that in one vein that the transfer portal's made everything, even, and then the next it's like, if they're not in the top 25, it's like, well, wait a second.
Right.
You said everything is even, so the 25th team is not different than the 50th team that much, according to what you just said 5 minutes ago, right? But it drives me fucking crazy. And then I'm sitting there like, wait a second. Texas has 0 wins against the top 25. 0.
Is it 0?
0. Yeah. The same as SMU.
Their best win was Vandy, right?
Or A&M.
Right? No, A&M was
neither in the top 25.
Yeah.
So how do you sell that narrative? Like, I saw Peter Burns drives me fucking crazy because he's just so ridiculously over the top for the SEC.
Florida too. But,
yeah.
What did Peter Burns say?
But Florida with their 3rd string quarterback, you should note these things. If they're going to do that with other situations, they should know that. By the way, Texas also, Georgia loses another QB today against Texas. Texas has the magic man.
Oh, that was like the 90% of the way into the game. I think
halftime.
Maybe
before halftime.
Is that when did he get hurt at half?
Yeah,
before half. No, you're right. You're right but he came back in on the last play. But yeah, you're right. He got hurt on the last play of the half, right?
I think it was the second to last play or the last play of half. Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah.
But my point is that they don't have any fucking top 25 wins. So does Indiana doesn't have any top 25 wins. Why should you use this for SMU?
I looked at SMU's schedule and Texas's schedule. They're essentially identical.
I think SMU's is better. Like their wins are better.
Their wins are better. I looked this up. It was 9-3 Duke, 8-4 Louisville, and 8-4 TCU. And then Texas had 8-4 A&M, 7-5.
8-4 A&M, who's beaten nobody.
Yeah, 7-5 Florida, and then 7-5. Who's the non-con game that they won? Michigan, which is after beating Ohio State.
Yeah, looks better.
But let's be honest. If we're gonna play Florida being a different team at the beginning of the year than the end of the year, let's play the same hand with Michigan. Texas got Michigan when they weren't very good.
Yeah,
Michigan became better at the end of the year.
I just don't understand how you can use that narrative for SMU and not use it for Indiana and Texas. Like Texas's best win is Texas A&M.
Yeah, they're real blatant about like their inconsistencies. Like anyone who's tracking it is like, all right, guys, like, yes, you want the better teams in. But oh well, it is what it is.
Georgia 22, Texas 19, Petty C. Your thoughts overall? I mean, we're just talking about this game. Georgia, I'm assuming Carson Beck's out for the season. We don't know that, but I'm assuming he's out for at least a month.
Beck? His arm was dead armed when he was in that last
They
time.
said he's going to have an MRI on it.
Okay.
Well, if they're using the logic of last year, then Georgia's. I know they got the auto bid, but should we put them at 12?
All right.
No, they have the auto bid. So but
still, no, they could be the number 5 team. You know, if we're playing that game, because if you're going to leave Georgia, if you're going to leave Florida State out,
how vulnerable does that make Georgia moving forward? Though they're already vulnerable. I thought coming into this, I mean, Georgia Tech proved that.
Well, I don't know how much better Carson Beck is than Gunnar Stockton. I think Carson Beck has played good football at times, but I don't think he's some elite quarterback. I know a lot of people expect him to be a first-round draft pick, and maybe he could play well in the pros. He's got the measurables, but he doesn't seem like – and Gunnar Stockton, I'm pretty sure, was a pretty high recruit. There isn't a huge distinction between those two. Although, their offense probably suffers a little without Carson back there.
Yeah. So Georgia. See, I did think this. I thought if Texas won this game, I thought it was actually the worst thing for Texas. If Georgia won this game, I thought, man, Kirby Smart's going to get time to prep and get. I feel like Kirby Smart on prep is better than Sark on prep, just judging by the past couple bowl games. Right?
Yeah, fair.
And I'm just like, oh gosh, like so Texas, might have dodged a bullet.
So why would that be better for?
Well, if you get the bye week,
the 2 seed, and the bye week,
you get the bye week, and to me, he's proven off of the bye week. Sometimes his teams aren't super prepared. They never even had the lead at all in that Washington game.
Okay,
I think both years. I think the year before.
Him staying in rhythm is preferable to taking a bye.
And I think Kirby Smart with 2 weeks prep. Now, granted, he won't know what team exactly it is, but I still think when he can,
he's one dude that
he's fucking really good.
Yeah, he is like Saban's disciple in that way. Yeah, they're nasty when given time to prep.
Marshall 31, Louisiana 3. Charles Huff, Sun Belt champ. This is my easiest play of the day. I bet this on the money line, and
nice.
I mean, I think he's going to take the Southern Miss job.
It's not even a lateral move. I mean,
Marshall is ridiculous.
It's a move down.
They didn't want Doc Holliday, who won like 10 games, 9 games every year. Yeah. And then they replaced him with Huff, who's scored their biggest win in their whole goddamn program history at Notre Dame. He wins the Sun Belt championship, and you're still not
ass in the Sun Belt championship.
I don't understand, like, who the fuck do they think they are? I mean,
we can't extend you. Sorry, dude.
That was my handicap on this. I just thought, dude, the team's going to get up for him. I've seen the tweets from their star player, or their team captain on the defensive side of the ball saying, like, calling out the administration and saying, like, he's going to.
Dude,
like,
that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to just jump out and play the race card, but, like, because Doc Holliday,
Yeah, no, he was white.
Yeah. Like, they're just stupid. They
don't like success.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? 10-2. We should be more 6-6. And don't win at Notre Dame. All right. You're going to ignite the fan base, start spending money on this fucking school. Then Clemson 34, SMU 31. This game was fucking hilarious.
This game was awesome.
This was the best game of the day.
Yeah, easily. And I don't know. I can't say that SMU was the better team and lost because Clemson played great in the first quarter. In the first quarter and a half. I
can't say that SMU was the better team. No, I will say it was a home game for Clemson.
Yeah. And I will say that the SMU definitely did not look ready for the moment. I mean, those stats, what they say, like 6 drop passes during the course of the entire season, 5 in that game alone for SMU. Like, yeah, it was probably the biggest moment the program's had since the 80s, early 80s, right?
Now, you can say that SMU had 130 more yards of offense because they did, but some of that has to do with the turnovers.
Yeah.
Some
of that also has to do with, the second half of the football game when they were moving the ball at will.
Yeah.
But yes, giving Clemson short fields every single possession for the first half probably also contributed to that stat.
There's no, to me, it's obvious. Like if SMU's not in the playoffs, then it's ridiculous. Like I don't even think it's a debate. It shouldn't even be a debate.
I almost want them to do it. I almost want them to be so overly blatant. You're going to take a team from the 3 spot, right? You're not going to move any other team from their spot because they didn't play. But you're going to take a team from the 3 spot that after they settled in completely kind of dominated, 2/3 of that football game. And you're going to say, oh, we're going to drop you 10 spots for that. You have to be the dumbest committee ever. You have to be an idiot to buy that.
Well, there's people pushing that agenda, man. Like I said, I felt like Twitter, when I was going through Twitter, most of the college football beat writers, or not beat, just people that cover the sport, even Stu Mandel and stuff, which I normally disagree with a lot, they're all just saying SMU's got to be in. But then you turn it on TV and you're seeing the narrative pushed. I saw like Joey Galloway and Kevin Carter and Christian Fourier and all these people are just saying
Blatt online.
Yeah, they're all like, nope, Alabama's in.
Let me give credit to someone that really stood out to me though, that didn't take the homer route, and that was Greg McElroy, who was announcing the SMU game, and he was outright in agreement. I forget who he was co-announcing with, but he was in pretty much full agreement that SMU deserved the spot over Alabama. Credit to Greg McElroy.
Like, not only because my opinion, I'm just saying, like, if you do this, I really believe next year you'll have a team not forfeit the championship game.
Well, yeah,
too much money is at stake. Too much money is at stake.
Do it the way that the Big 12 did it before, in 2014, and that will be the irony of it. Is like, okay, you left them out because of that supposed 13th data point, and now you're using the 13th data point against them. So now that that's changed, guess what? We're going to go old school, and we're not going to play the conference championship game. And when we finish 11-1, and you finish 8-3, or 9-3, then look, we're ahead of you, and that's how things end.
Yeah, and the problem is, man, I think I read, I could have this number off. I thought I read that Boise State, by winning yesterday's game, is getting $9 million regardless of them winning or losing or getting a bye week.
Well,
regardless,
maybe they will. Maybe they will play the conference championship game then.
Well, no. My point is, no. My point is like if they're in regardless.
Oh, they're getting $9 million.
Then you have $9 million reasons not to.
Oh, just for making the playoff, they're making
yes,
$9 million.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you're making much more money to the financial risk, and that's probably ultimately what it comes down to, is the school administration will be like, guess what? We can't afford to give away however many $1 million to play this game. So guess what? As a conference, we're going to opt out. So yeah, especially, I mean, a year like this year, where if you have a clear case where 2 ACC teams probably belong in, and they snub one of them to put a 4th SEC team in, and you only get 1 ACC team in, then you just go, fuck it. The deck is stacked. Let's play our own. Let's play to our advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're fucked personally. I think like the committee wants to put Alabama in, but I don't think you can justify this.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do this, you will have teams forfeit, or they will announce there is no championship game.
Well, here's the other thing. Does the committee give a fuck what happens in the aftermath? One thing they've proven is they don't. They don't know, because no matter what, as long as the next day, there's been every year, I seem to be stunned by their decision. So I'm almost curious to see what they do here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The other game going on was Penn State and Oregon. I did lose on this one. I had Penn State +4 or 3.5, I think it was. Penn State sucks, dude, and Oregon's very good.
How are you going to say Penn State sucks when they
played
Oregon?
I just thought like Oregon got whatever they wanted offensively, specifically in the first half, right? And I thought, damn, I thought Penn State had a better defense in this. Now, some of it,
I think both of these teams have like top 5 defenses. It's like, what?
Yeah,
how is this a shootout?
Oregon looked the best I've seen them all year to me. all year. Like, I wasn't as impressed with a lot of their performances as I think the masses were until tonight. Tonight, I was like, whoa. But then I'm like,
dude, if you look back at their body of work, they have been pretty.
They played nobody. Actually, we talked about this on the grid today. So
But
someone
they
asked
beat
me
the shit out of everyone they played.
Someone asked me, how many good offenses has Oregon played in the Big Ten? And I said,
well, how many good offenses are there in the Big Ten? Period. Isn't
well, in general, then you look in general at their offenses. They played Idaho and FCS. Boise, okay, Boise's a decent offense. Oregon State, not a good offense. And then you have your Big Ten schedule where this question was posed to me pre the championship game. So we can't include Penn State. I went through and I was like, there's none. You have zero. Besides Ohio State, they've played zero good offenses, right?
Oh, I firmly believe Oregon State can lose in their first game, or Oregon rather. Yeah, sorry, Oregon. Yeah, Oregon State. Beaver fans are about to kill me. Oregon fans, or Oregon could lose in the first round, or I guess the second round. But yeah, I don't.
Today was super impressive because to me, I thought, man, I do remember Boise pushing around Oregon a little bit on the line of scrimmage. Part of my reason of betting Penn State was I was like, I think, you look at Oregon's body of work, it's not that impressive in a way because I don't think any of those teams are like they beat Michigan, but Michigan is so one-dimensional. Yeah. Like if you're like in conference, okay, you have the Ohio State one. That's in Autzen. That's a great win.
Yeah, but
that's in Autzen. I learned more about Oregon today.
And if there was one more second on the clock, they probably would have lost that game. Who's Ohio State's quarterback again? I'm drawing a blank. Will Howard.
Yeah,
doesn't throw that ball late.
But dude, if you look at this, Michigan and Illinois are the only two teams they beat with the winning record in conference besides Ohio State, and those aren't offensive juggernaut teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they're not. Hold on. You said Michigan and who is the? I know Illinois. Yeah, probably not. I got to get those offensive stats pulled up. But I agree with you. I think that really the more impressive thing is offensively against Penn State, who is.
I was blown away by that. I didn't think there was going to be that much scoring. That was
Penn State number 4 total defense. Oregon number 7.
This should have been the first half, dude. The first half, I was like, "What?"
31-24.
I couldn't be more wrong on a game script than like out of any of them than this one right here. Like it was 31-24 at halftime, and I'm like, that was like my final score. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Dude, what?
Let's give credit to Drew Allard too, though. He kind of balled. He's more athletic. It's funny to watch quarterbacks go from lawn chairs to like mildly athletic. I think that's a trend. I've mentioned Cade Klubnik doing it several times. Drew Allard is now someone you got to like respect. Not only with pocket mobility, but even scrambling and going downfield. He can create offense that way. So both teams kind of got off on each other very surprisingly, but Oregon had a little more in the tank. I think Penn State's very good though.
Penn State's now 1-24 versus the AP top 5 opponent since 2000.
I mean, that's such a hang on. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
They are 1-14 against top 5 teams under James Franklin. They've lost 11 straight. Their only one being a block kick return for a touchdown. Penn State has lost 12 straight top 5 opponents. I mean, there's just something about them shit in the bed, man.
Yeah,
I was on Penn State.
I'm not playing that game with Penn State this year. I think Penn State was a yard away against Ohio State. Granted, that was at home. And then in this game, they, forgot. I'll give you this. Why the fuck did they go for 2? Paying attention to the analytics. But they, if they had made a stop there at the end, they would have had a chance to tie it up with the number 1 team in the country.
But you say that, though, and I'll also say they needed a fake punt to beat Minnesota.
Until he proves it, you're right. The record is what it is. They can't win really big games.
I was very wrong on that outcome, and shout out to Oregon. I hate Dylan Gabriel. Dude, on the record, he's the biggest bitch in all of football. But
I hope he gets fucking rocked with those late slides.
Me too. Yeah. And by the way, what a horrible targeting call on the fucking on the blitz by Arizona State. So that guy suspended the first half of the next game.
I remember it, but I'm forgetting it.
God, it was fucking pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic that the fact we got to hear these stupid fucking suits sit there and say that's the right call. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. That is football 101. Football 101.
Let me give the announcers credit though, or the refs credit for the not calling the targeting.
That was great
in the Georgia-Texas game.
That was fantastic.
That was amazing.
Yeah, well, I feel like the SEC has been better on targeting than a lot of other conferences.
Or maybe the SEC just loves Georgia and always gives them the benefit of the doubt.
That play was fantastic. He tries to run like a running back, and he just gets absolutely rocked. I was cracking up the second I saw it. And then I saw the flag come in, and I go, good God. Like, the guy is a runner at that point. He should get lit up.
Yeah.
He should.
And I do think he hit him with his shoulder pad, right?
Yeah. No, I'm glad they picked up the flag because it should never be a penalty. The
Arizona
State kid,
lit up.
Dude, the Arizona State kid, the fact he's got to sit out, then it's criminal.
First half,
fucking criminal. It was a great football play. It's exactly what you should do. Fuck off. Anyway, folks, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. We've been running on MyBookie.ag for years. Check out their new and improved website. It's great on mobile. Plus, there's props for every game, and the live dealer casino is a bundle of fun. There's even new cash-out options as well. Head over to MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Plus, they're going to give you a little $10 casino chip. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. You can copy one of the top-performing models from the leaderboard. You'll probably make cash. Sit back. Probably make cash. Probably a smart play. Or you could build your own model that will adjust around what you like. And now you can track the props in the Rhythm app. They added college basketball on November 2nd, just right before the season. They've already got college football, NBA, NFL. They got it all. Get on over there. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we are back. Patty C, we went through all these games. Friday, Rich Rodriguez put up 52 points against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, he nailed the interview for West Virginia.
Yeah,
all he has to do for his interview is hold up that box score.
Yeah, shout out to Bill. These dudes are the best I've ever listened to. These dudes know football. I would say, and thank you, Bill. Appreciate you.
You're the man.
I would say like we have kind of a life dedicated to it. I've been playing. I mean, I feel like our whole life was based around football.
Yeah.
From 2 years old on.
Some might call us losers.
Yeah. Some
assholes, but yeah.
But they're in the wrong. They're in the wrong.
It is the greatest thing in the world, and so why not dedicate your life to it?
Amen. Patty C, Jacksonville State 52, Western Kentucky 12. Jacksonville State wins what? Is that their 10th win of the season? 9th win of the season? They win the Conference USA in year 2.
Let me say this.
Yes.
As a JMU fan that just watched us squander the opportunity to win the conference in year 2, granted, we weren't allowed to play in it year 1, but props to Rich Rodriguez and Jacksonville State. Quite the accomplishment.
Dude, all these FCSs that jumped up, with the exception of UMass.
Yeah, but Sam Houston, everyone's like, oh, well, maybe it's not everyone, but year 2, boom, what'd they go? 8-4?
Yeah, and they looked really good. They were, one game there, one game out of the CUSA championship.
Kennesaw, it took a while, but they did
still
get
year 1.
Liberty on the way.
I don't agree with that. They could be like UMass because they have a coaching change now, but when you look at Georgia Southern, Coastal, Marshall, App, JMU, like all these teams have proven they belong. Yeah. I'm trying to think besides UMass, I don't know who has not belonged.
Yeah, I mean, App rather came in and won 10 games. Like I
Yeah.
feel like 3 or 4 of the first 5 years. Could be wrong on that, but they had great success, like right out the bat for an extended period of time. So
Yeah.
Hey, Montana State, South Dakota State, North Dakota State.
Take
Hello.
notes. Take notes.
Yeah, join the Mountain West. Start dominating.
Army year 1, and this is something we should talk about too. So Army year 1 of the AAC runs the table 35-14 against Tulane. The scene was amazing at West Point.
Yeah.
So wait,
Bryson
Army joins
Daly.
the conference. Yeah. In general, when you think about this, Arizona State joins the conference, wins.
Yeah.
Oregon joins the conference, wins. Jacksonville State's 2 years into their conference, wins. Army joins the conference, wins.
SMU
and Texas almost did too. They were right there. Both were right there. I mean, if there's any more proof of the parity, but Army is 11-1. They're not going to the playoffs, I don't think, and it's unfortunate.
Let me tell you this: I love Army. I'm a slightly bigger Army fan than I am a Navy fan, although I think Navy's awesome too. God bless America, but and Navy's uniforms are probably a little better than Army's. Army's all black uniforms phenomenal, but Navy's Army Navy games uniforms this year. Have you seen those?
Yeah, they're fire.
They're absolute fire. But I still, rather than Army go 12-1, have an amazing year, I want Navy to pull the upset here.
For the rivalry's sake?
Yeah, for the rivalry's sake.
That's a good angle. And then Boise 21, UNLV 7. Boise was up 21-0 at halftime. Patty C, that's all the games. The scenes were great on the Friday night, I thought, but I want to talk about there we go. Shout out to Bill. We want tape on Patty C.
You'll get high school game tape. If you want college game tape, I'll be on the if anyone caught me on the sideline. Yeah. Find the burrito truck. Right?
I want a drone footage from that. Just like that they found that dude in that guy who assassinated that CEO.
Dude,
they found they used drone footage to find some backpack at Central Park. I want that of you eating the burrito. All right.
I don't think drones existed back then, but maybe it exists.
Damn shame.
This is a Pruder film of me eating fucking burritos.
All right, let's talk about this playoff mess now. My projection as of right now would be this, and tell me, I'm curious where you think I'm wrong. All right. The 1 seed is Oregon.
Yeah.
The 2 seed is Georgia.
Yeah.
The 3 seed is Arizona State.
Debatable, but
the 4 seed is Boise State.
Sure.
All right. I think maybe Boise's 3, Arizona State's 4. Yeah. I don't know. I think Arizona State's schedule is tougher than Boise's.
It's right there. I posted on Twitter. I was like, I'm fine with either one. Whichever way they choose to go.
I just think the Mountain West was down this year, and I think Arizona State's more battle tested. And then they lost the game.
I personally would give the edge to Arizona State too.
Yeah. So okay, now at 5, and this is what I think they're gonna do. It's not what I would do.
Yeah.
5 is Penn State. 6 is Texas.
This is what you would do.
No, this is what I think.
This is what you think. No, I think they'll put Texas over Penn State. But anyway, go ahead.
7 is Notre Dame.
Yes.
8 Ohio State.
Yep.
9 Tennessee.
Yep.
10 Indiana.
Yep.
11 SMU.
No.
12 Clemson.
Flip that, and I think just because I think Clemson just beat SMU, I think they'll put Clemson above SMU. So
you have it as Texas. Let me just write this now. Texas as the 5. Penn State
and SMU
as the
is
6.
Yeah, Texas is 5.
Okay. And then SMU is the 12, which I guess would sort of make sense, even though Clemson has a lot.
One more loss. Yeah.
Wait, don't they have 2 more losses?
I am torn how I want it to turn out, but if I was following logic, it is debatable whether Penn State or Texas has better claim to the 5 seed, just because Texas was the 2 seed.
But we have the same matchups essentially.
Yeah,
we have
and
the
that's
same
the
matchups.
matchups that they should make if there is an element of entertainment that they're trying to put in it are very obvious. Notre Dame and Indiana should be playing, right? And Texas and SMU should be playing, right? Which leaves us with Ohio State and Tennessee, which is the obvious matchup,
Awesome
and then
game.
Penn State and Clemson, which is also an awesome game. And how I want it to turn out, and how I'm sure you want it to turn out, is SMU beating Texas and Austin, right? I personally want to see both Big Ten teams beat the Southern teams, just to prove that
I think that I mean I would favor that.
Yeah, I think Ohio State beats Tennessee rather
Indiana
handily.
Notre Dame's the interesting one.
I want Indiana to win that.
Of course,
clearly.
But I think that's an interesting game.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Okay, now I was looking. A bunch of other people have been sharing theirs. I saw. So what's another matchup they could do here? They could do SMU.
I saw SMU Notre Dame. They tried.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah,
but you're still missing the elephant in the room here.
The
SMU Texas.
It's so great.
That's by far to me the game. I actually think if I was to recap this season 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I would say that's the game that happened that year.
Yeah, more so than Indiana Notre Dame. I would say
more so than the fucking national championship. I bet.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like if they miss this, if the TV execs
if SMU can go into Austin and beat them.
It's just and just the hatred between the schools, the history.
Just to recap here, I don't know if it was Texas specifically, but I know Texas A&M, all of those teams were super dirty back in the 80s. They've been dirty for as long as football's been around. But when SMU started to get dirty, obviously the death penalty hit SMU, even though A&M was recruiting and was responsible for giving Eric Dickerson the gold Pontiac or whatever it was.
No, SMU didn't give him that.
No, that's what I'm saying. A&M gave him that, yet SMU is the one that caught the death penalty, and so and then SMU was kept out of the Big 12 after they moved from the Southwest Conference, and so was TCU, and then Texas, made the Longhorn Network and fucked up all of college football based on that, and SMU has finally gotten to a point where the stars have aligned, and they have a chance to, be what they probably should have been for the last 40 years, which is a powerhouse in the state of Texas. And I want them to fucking whoop Texas's ass, and I want them to embarrass them in their own stadium. That would be the perfect whatever. The rest of the year doesn't matter if that happens.
Yeah. Now here's what I'm fearful of. Even though SMU at Notre Dame would still be fun for me because I think we'll see it next year in the ACC schedule. I don't want Indiana at Texas. That game bores me.
No, it'll be
will they give Texas the layup with Indiana?
I hope not. That game kind of bores me too, but I think Indiana might be able to keep up with Texas.
It's just a boring game to me though. Like
it doesn't have that much.
If they fail us, I feel like Ohio State Tennessee's set. There's no way they can change that.
Yeah, that's the 8-9 game.
Yeah. I feel like Penn State Clemson is almost set, right?
It should be set because Penn State should be the 6th seed probably, depending on what they do with Notre Dame and Penn State. But I would think unless they're going to – I feel like it's a convenient way for them not to penalize the team playing in the conference championship to put Penn State against Clemson as the 6 versus 11 seed and then put Notre Dame at 7 versus 10 Indiana. Not only do you – make great compelling matchups there, but you don't penalize teams for playing in the conference championship. If they're smart, that's what they'll do. They're stupid though, so they probably won't. We'll see.
So wait, I'm just trying to get a gauge on this then. So assuming it goes the way I said, or the way we both said, like I'll even adjust to yours. Let's say Texas is the 5.
Yeah.
Texas, SMU, the winner would play Arizona State.
I love that.
Fucking what's it called? Scottsdale or whatever.
Whatever.
Scottsdale.
Glendale. Yeah. Home field advantage. But then if Boise State is the 3 seed, are they going to want to play in the Fiesta Bowl? Are they going to give
you're right. Actually, that'd be the Peach Bowl then. That
Yeah, that would be really unfortunate. I would rather see Arizona State versus whoever, Texas or SMU, a Southwest battle in the Southwest. But that might be put in the Peach Bowl.
That game's awesome, though.
Like, that game would be awesome.
I think Arizona State is live against both those teams, Texas or SMU, right?
I mean, would they even be dogs? I mean, I guess
I don't know, but Texas. I think well, then you're talking about. Wow. I mean, so then Oregon would get the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. Dude, the 1 seed's way harder than the 5 seed.
Yeah. And that's great because Oregon's job is to beat Ohio State in this playoff.
I think Ohio State would beat them personally.
Probably.
At the Rose Bowl? Give me Ohio State to beat them.
Yeah, maybe. On grass.
Right?
Yeah.
Then on the other side of this, Georgia would take on the winner of
Autzon's on grass, though.
Wait. Who's the 7-10 again for us?
Indiana, Notre Dame. So Georgia versus that. That's not super compelling, but I would love to see either one of those teams beat Georgia, which I think either one of them has. I think Notre Dame will beat Georgia. I think they're better. But Indiana could beat Georgia.
And then Boise would get the winner of Penn State, Clemson. That's perfect, dude. Boise can beat those teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only problem is
lose to them too. But I'm just saying,
I would love to see Boise versus Oregon again because the border battle there between Idaho and Oregon and the tradition that's kind of happened there. But was it Byron Hout and LeGarrette Blount? Give me as much Boise, Oregon as I could get.
Wow. So then, so you think Ohio State would beat Oregon?
I think that's a really good game. In a neutral site, that's a very, very good game. I guess I would favor Ohio State slightly, yeah. But I don't know. Like Oregon played great,
Well, what would be interesting if Oregon did win is you'd have Dillingham against Lanning. They were coaching together. You know what I mean? If Arizona State were to knock off Texas or SMU.
Yeah, that would be great. Give me that. Give me that all day.
Yeah. And then on the other side, you hopefully would have, Boise
versus Indiana would be ideal, but
I mean, Indiana, Georgia, I think would be kind of. The problem is I think Notre Dame. I mean, I don't know. I think if any year Notre Dame could get Georgia, it would be this year.
Yeah, Georgia's down. Georgia's not that good. I don't think Texas is even that good. That was a sloppy ass game for most of the first half.
Now, if they put Bama in, Bama is at Texas?
Yeah.
They'll draw a huge fucking number. But, yeah, we see it. We saw it, the past 2 years.
Yeah. So, anyway, I think Indiana against Arizona State is my ideal national championship game. But we'll see what happens.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this. They got to
great day of college football.
They got to expand it too.
Shall we talk about some of the lower levels?
Yes, FCS. I mean, you had some good games. You had some blowouts.
Straight chalk.
Yeah,
straight chalk.
Mercer
8 games. The higher seed won every single one.
Mercer won 17-10. And what's crazy, going into the fourth, Rhode Island had that. If Rhode Island did not throw a pick six in the first quarter, they would have won this game. But they did, and Mercer, shout out to the Bears, advancing. Incarnate Word Villanova was a game. It was kind of
doozy.
I was watching this one, man. It was in, some high wind, but Incarnate Word, shout out to them.
Incarnate Words.
They were losing going into the fourth. Yeah, in San Antonio, they were losing. This is where Cam Ward played.
Yeah, West Texas has great wind.
Dude, that's another one. They were losing going into the fourth. They scored 10 in the fourth and grabbed the home win there.
We knew that would be a good game.
Yeah, South Dakota State put it on Montana.
Yeah.
Again. So the rematch of last year's national championship. I mean, Montana covered for us, but
no revenge achieved.
Yeah, no revenge. The SWAC championship, this was kind of fascinating, it was 13-13 at the half. Or no, it was 10-10 at the half.
And
I was like, Southern's going to cover this. No, 31 unanswered. in the second half there for or a 31-3 run there
The
for
Tigers.
Jackson State. Shout out to Jackson State going back to the Celebration Bowl, Patty C. This is their third SWAC championship, I believe, in 4 years.
Boom.
And it sets up the Celebration Bowl as I believe they're taking on, was it South Carolina State? I believe it is. Yeah, South Carolina State, the Bulldogs.
That's right.
Who beat them a couple years ago. Shout out to
That's
Buddy
right.
Q.
Dion's second year there, right?
We get a little rematch of that game. Montana State drilled UT Martin. This is one of my favorite plays on the card. You're not just going to go up to Bozeman and push.
Dude, I was a little bit surprised about this. UT Martin put it on New Hampshire so badly the week before.
I just think it's hard to win at those Montana places, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's a different animal to me. Tommy Malott threw for 300. Then you had North Dakota State 51, Abilene Christian 31. The Dakotas represented hard today, and the Montanas, Patty C.
Dude, in the what is this? The quarterfinals now. We have Montana State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and South Dakota.
Oh,
So we have 3 out of 4 Dakota schools in the quarter or semifinals. Very potentially.
And you had UC Davis drill Illinois State. I was all over that one. That was one of my favorite plays. Idaho put it on Lehigh. Great story for Lehigh all year, and hopefully they can build on that. Shout out to the Vandals. I'm surprised Jason Eck is not an FBS coach, but maybe someone will call. They're still opening positions, and that's what I want to ask you about. And I want to talk D2, D3.
How many people make fun of me that I'm like 500 pounds right now? I feel like the whole chat just laughs at me because I drank too much beer. You know what? I'm going to come back in a few months, and I'm going to be cock diesel.
They're calling you Cam Scatterbill.
Wait, go on the Scatterburger diet. Yeah. Well, my head, I wish my head was as much of a cinder block as Scatterbill. I love our fan base for just calling it out. Call it out like it is. Guess what? I'm gonna drink it.
I didn't see anything else though. Besides that, I think you're fucking exaggerating.
Little sensitive.
Yeah, I think you're exaggerating this. Patty C. So wait, who do you got winning the FCS National Championship? North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Which one?
Yeah. Montana State's still the 1 seed, and they've been dominant. So give me Montana State. The Babcats.
I think I'm going to go North Dakota State to get this one, and then they announced they're joining the Mountain West. But Patty C. wanted to talk. We're gonna. I promise I'll close out with D2, D3, and NAIA. But Bronco Mendenhall leaves New Mexico after 1 year for Utah State. Tim Albin leaves Ohio for Charlotte. Scott Frost is back at UCF.
Nice.
I'm assuming we're gonna get Charles Huff to Southern Miss soon. What were some of the other? Neil Brown's interviewing for Purdue. Bill Belichick interviewing for North Carolina. Same with John Summerall. What were some of the other ones?
Dude, the idea that Steve Belichick is the head coach in waiting, ridiculous.
Dude, I kind of love it, actually. I'm hoping North Carolina. There's something about.
Is there anyone less North Carolina-ish than Steve Belichick? He is clearly. Belichick. Yeah. Well, both. Well, that's
why. That's why it's fun though, is because Belichick, who made Lawrence Taylor's a Carolina grad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, could he get them grimy?
No. It's just that's Mac Brown 2.0 right there in North Carolina.
Belichick? I mean, yeah, with his age, but I do think like he's not soft like Mac Brown is, dude.
Yeah, he might try and like kick ass, but he's so old. Like, I feel like he needs to be like a skipper in baseball, guiding a cruise ship. He can't be down in the trenches like kicking ass and taking names like he used to. I don't know. I don't think that's a great fit personally.
I like it.
I
think
love
it's
it.
great for content. I think it's great
Yeah.
for just everything. Yeah, I mean, I want to ask you about those Mendenhall too. So I like to think I'm the one that broke that news. I was
You were.
way ahead of ESPN, way ahead of
Yeah.
any of those beat writers, I feel like, or those college football writers. My source was good that Mendenhall had taken the job, but apparently when I dove into the behind the scenes, even though New Mexico said they were going to up the salary, commit more money into football, from what I understand, it was a mess behind the scenes as far as first off, Mendenhall's from right where Utah State's located.
Okay.
That's where
He
grew up.
coached. Did he
Right-
coach at Utah ever? Or was it all BYU? I feel like all those dudes
Yeah,
from that area
have
all
coached
coached at.
there, right?
Yeah.
But I believe his dad was also a coach too. But hang on. He that's such a good hire for you. You remember Utah State's leaving the Mountain West. They're going to the Pac-12 next year.
Yeah.
New Mexico now looking for a head coach. They should call Jason Eck from Idaho, by the way. Curious your thoughts on the hire of Mendenhall to Utah State.
I'm a great hire, obviously. It's more of an indictment of New Mexico than it is a great hire by Utah State. I mean, you got to give credit to Utah State, but how the hell do you let that get away from you, New Mexico? Like,
Yeah.
As Nick pointed out, what is it with New Mexico schools that just hate having good coaches, good football
Jerry
coaches?
Kill pissed them off. Yeah, or they piss off Jerry Kill. He quits, goes to Vanderbilt. They make bowl games, beat Alabama for the first time in 100 years. Wanted to ask you, Tim Albin going from Ohio to Charlotte. I think that's a great hire for Charlotte. I think that's the best hire. Look, and I like the Biff Poggi one, but there was more unknown. I think Tim Albin, who was at Nebraska with Frank Solich back in the day, and Craig Bohl, what he did at Ohio, winning their first championship since the 60s, was a great get for Charlotte.
That is a great look. You know,
Yeah.
that is one of those things that you can, pin your name to and say, I accomplished this. And how many years is that? Since 60 years since the 60s? Yeah, that's quite the accomplishment.
I think that's a great get for Charlotte. And by the way, New Mexico should call Nick Rolovich. That needs a bigger. But App State hired what was it? The South Carolina offensive coordinator. Is this Dow Loggins? A guy that I was not super familiar with this guy.
Yeah.
He was the OC this past year or the past.
At which college?
No, it's South Carolina.
At South Carolina. All right.
And I was surprised at this because
Kenny Loggins playing with the boys,
I thought they were toying with the idea of hiring Neil Brown. And for all I know, this hire might work out. I wasn't blown away. He's kind of an NFL guy, It was a strange hire to me, but we'll see. I've been wrong before, but
what do you think about Tino Sunseri as the UCLA OC?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued. Bieniemy got fired.
Sunseri's have that Alabama history, so maybe he instills some toughness in UCLA.
And I think the big question here, buddy. First off, Scott Frost to UCF. Talk about that. What do you think? I think that's a great fucking hire.
I think we'll see.
Yeah?
I don't know. I mean,
I'll say this.
Had a great year or two there.
True. But I'll say this. Nebraska lost so many close games with them. Sometimes I think that was just a snowball effect of bad luck, but I will say one of those years, the special teams was the worst special teams I've ever seen.
Yeah. Typically, you, Colby, would judge close losses as bad coaching.
But to me, he inherited a mess, and I felt like the team that Michigan went to the playoffs and lost to TCU, they lost by 3 to them in a game they probably should have won. And I'm like,
yeah, I thought he was right there.
Yeah.
I thought they could have if things broke his way. I mean, you look at Manny Diaz at Miami. I think it was the exact same thing. It's like, dude, you just keep getting shitty ass luck, and then you go somewhere else and your luck changes. maybe that'll happen for Scott Frost.
Love the FIU hire of Willie Simmons. He was just at Florida,
The Rattlers.
FAU, and had great success there. I think he's a good coach. He was on part of Duke's staff. They won 9 games this year. I like the Frost hire. So, Patty C, now I would ask you, who the hell is coaching West Virginia next year?
I forget which beat writer wrote it. Pete Thamel, maybe. One of those guys was saying that Rich Rod is on he's going to get interviewed, but I don't think he's necessarily a front runner. I saw a few guys recently say
Kodo Nicky's one.
Okay. I saw Jimbo Fisher might be out,
Yeah.
Or he's not.
Marshall should call Jimbo Fisher. I mean, actually, Marshall should re-sign Charles Huff, but if they're going to.
They're going to insist on sucking.
Yeah. There's a guy out there that could do you great. But I would assume Rich Rod is, because here's why I think Rich Rod's a done deal. I think McAfee can put him on the show every week. He's already had Rich Rod as a guest. I think McAfee already donated, I think it was $1.5 million a couple weeks ago. Right? And I think
what?
there's
To the hiring process?
NIL collective. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They were spending a lot of money with Bob Huggins in basketball. And I know the administration and the NIL collective kind of clashed over the Huggins situation. This is how you get them back on the good side. You hire Rich Rod because they love Rich Rod. I think they do, at least. I mean, I don't know. They left on bad terms.
A lot of them seem to hate him, but I feel like that's false bravado. I think that's like, unless this dude commits to us, we're not gonna show him any love because he already fucked us once. But once the deal gets done, then they'll all love it. They'll all be like, "Welcome back,"
Yeah, I mean, I think they should get Rich Rod, but then so I'm just trying to forecast the next pieces. Is North Carolina going to go for some? They should probably go for Summerall over Belichick, right? Even though we want Belichick there.
Yeah, Summerall's probably the better hire.
How about Virginia and Virginia Tech doubling down on the same staff, right?
They're stupid and they're loser.
Virginia got a big donation, though. Gigantic fucking donation.
Yeah, so that could make Tony Elliott take a step forward. I mean, supposedly, I don't know how many multi-millions of dollars they got, but I think it's earmarked for NIL. So, yeah, they're just going to go out and spend. And if Tony Elliott's smart, he'll just spend it all right now and just get a bunch of shit ton of good players in the portal, which just opened up. Or I think, has it opened up or is it about to open up?
It's about, I think we're 1 day away, right?
Gotcha.
Or two, I think on the 9th. But Jerry Kill, Danny Dumbshit saying, Jerry Kill, why not take a shot on him if you're West Virginia or Marshall? I don't know. He gets paid pretty well right now, but it would be a package of Jason Beck, their OC at Vanderbilt, and him. But I certainly think they should. I mean, if you're Marshall, why not? If any of these schools, Sam Houston State's open, right.
If you don't mind him threatening other coaches' lives and escaping to Mexico, then you're not trying.
No one can handle a joke these days, right?
yeah, exactly.
Let's continue on this journey. There's Sam Houston still open as well. D2, Patty C.
Yeah.
Slippery Rock, the story, the magical season. They had that magical win over Kutztown, Andre Reed's alma mater. And now they go into California, Pennsylvania, and put the SmackDown, the 4 seed.
Yeah, the Kutztown was the 1 seed.
Yep.
Boom.
Well, and then they took down the 3 seed today. Valdosta put it on Virginia Union. Fun little ride for Virginia Union. But then my personal favorite game, one of my favorite games of the day, was Minnesota State against Bemidji State there. That game was awesome. The game was packed. Fucking cold as hell. Goal line stand by Minnesota State. It was fantastic.
Only Colby got eyeballs on Minnesota State versus Bemidji State.
Well, this is why they got to move some of these conference games to these conference championships, because it's like, sorry, I mean, some of those like Mercedes-Benz, Jerry's World, Lucas Oil, they're all boring ass environments.
I will say this.
Bullshit. Yeah.
They kind of shot the bed putting the ACC championship and the Big Ten championship at the same time. It was cool, I guess, watching the same exact thing happen on the split screens at the same time, and it was a little frantic and fun. But it's like, dude, both of those deserved their own, moment. So yeah, spread it around a little bit, and give these D2 and D3 schools their own chance to shine. They should put these on like Wednesday and Thursday.
They really should, because these games are fire. I was surprised Ferris State put it on Harding the way they did. But, man, Ferris State looks like they might run away with the whole damn.
Wasn't Mary – no, this is I'm thinking of Baldwin. Nick said Mary Hardin Baldwin was the
Mary Hardin Baylor.
Baylor was his top viewing game of the week.
Oh, and they got it done, by the way. Switching gears to D3. They beat Linfield 28-18. How about Saskatchewan? How do I say that again? Susquehanna?
Susquehanna. Yeah.
Good God. They got it done against St. John's, Minnesota. They now take on Bethel, Mary Hardin Baylor. How about Johns Hopkins taking down?
They're not just a lacrosse school.
14-9. Yeah. And then Bethel getting the best of old Wartburg, 24-14, Patty C. Sets up and then Salisbury.
Salisbury versus Mountain Union might be the most anticipated D3 game. Yeah.
So how about Springfield against North Central? North Central's really good.
Is Springfield in Illinois too? That's a Illinois showdown potentially. There's like a Springfield in every state though, so that's a wild guess, but
could be Missouri too, right?
Probably.
Or it could be Iowa. I forget. Or Massachusetts. I think it's Massachusetts actually.
Okay, we're just guessing.
I think I think it is, because it's Massachusetts. They beat Cortland 40-28.
Boom, nice pull. The database strikes again.
Yeah, look, you got to get over there. You got to check all this stuff out. We'll do a deeper dive on this as the for this week's pick show. But I just want the good people to realize just how good they have it. There's these gems out there that the world's missing, Patty C.
ESPN Plus is glorious. I was able to check in a few. I was stunned to see Mary Hardin Baldwin on ESPN Plus.
All of their games are. They cover every single thing. And, I mean, if you didn't catch some of it, you would get perhaps gems like this. YouTube.com/The College Experience. I know we're about to get out of here, but I just want to Patty C. This is out there for you. This is out there for you. All right.
Is that today?
Yeah, I think it was last week. But yes, you can get all those fire games nonstop. Get on over there and exactly. They're gonna move Arrowhead to a dome. The NFL's dead. The NFL died. They died with that kickoff, that cockamamie kickoff. Yeah, the Redskins are going to a dome. They're dead. All right. Patty C is on Twitter at PattyC831. We're gonna react tomorrow night. We'll see. It's great. They're playing that clip of Bledsoe getting knocked out.
When is the
tomorrow? Noon.
Eastern.
When you wake up after 6 more Jaeger bombs, you're gonna.
I'm gonna scream at fucking Ward Manuel's fat head and tell him what an idiot he is when he puts Alabama in, aren't I?
Yes. Perhaps. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Obviously, we will react to the 12-team playoff and Army-Navy next weekend, as well as all those games we just highlighted, FCS, D2, D3, NAIA, which I didn't even touch on. We'll do that on the pick show. Till next time, folks, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot.